Okay, here we are back in the kitchen. I'm better on my feet. Apparently from the last video it didn't work out very well. So what we're going to do today is we're going to brew some Bavarian Hefeweizen. But before we get to that, these are the 5 beers that I've brewed so far. Number 6 is still in the carboy, waiting to go to bottle another week. And I just want to do a comparison with all of them, and then number 6 down here is going to be a bit of a surprise. So I'm going to start with the latest one, which is Dry Irish Stout, just in time for St. Patty's Day. So we're going to pour each one, we'll compare them, color. There's the Dry Irish. I don't know, I'm trying to get everything into the shot here. So I know that you might not be able to see the full glass. This one here is Caribou Slobber, which is brown nut ale. Everybody kind of cracks up when I say the name of that one. Not getting a lot of foam on the tops of these. I'm pouring them kind of slow. But anyway, you can see the difference in color. The Dry Irish is black, just black. And this one is the first beer that I made. This is the American Amber, and I'm down to now 2 bottles left. So this is the oldest beer in the arsenal of beer. Nice foam on that one. That one comes out nice. And moving down the line, this one here is Irish Red Ale, again for St. Patty's Day. So we're gonna, maybe I could take the camera and kind of pan down. Nice brown color, nice red color between those two. And this one here is really a surprise beer that I really like, and I will more than likely make a lot more for the summer. This is Cream Ale, and Cream Ale is really, it's come a long way from day one. It's really a light, almost a slight fruity flavor. It's got that buttered toast, like the kit says. You know, it's nice golden color, you know, and comparing it to the Irish Red, and then of course all the way back up to Dry Irish Stout, which is black, but you know, it's very clear, which means, and what I mean by the way, when I drink it, it's I can see through the glass, I can see the clarity through the beer. You can't really see it now, but anyway, it's very clear, which means I'm doing something right at the cold break, which is when I chill the wort down before I pour it in the carboy. So now the last one's a surprise. We're going to actually pour, and this is the only size bottle I could buy running down at the store. I couldn't buy a small one unless I bought it in 6-pack. We're gonna try this just as a color comparison, a commercial beer. Top it off. And there you have it, a commercial beer. Now, hopefully I won't get in trouble with anybody as far as licensing goes or anything, but it has a couple of letters on here. It says BL, so whatever that stands for, but there you go. There's your commercial beer side by side with all the others. So and some of them have lost their foam heads, but here's the Dry Irish Stout. It's very malty. Very similar to a Guinness. It has that dry roasted flavor to it from all the roasted barley that's in there. But I added an extra, if you looked at one of my previous videos, I added a pound of DME, which is basically, well, here's a pound of DME, dry malt extract. I added that to this beer. It wasn't in the kit. This was something I added extra. So I don't know if that just helped give it more malty flavor, but it's really good. And sorry, Guinness lovers, but I did try it side by side with a Guinness, and I just feel mine has more flavor, more maltiness to it than the commercial beer out of the bottle. But there you have it. I'm going to come up to the camera and kind of pan down so you can kind of see them all. So let's see if I can do this without disturbing too much here. There they are. And I'm going to zoom in. Dry Irish Stout, Caribou Slobber, Brown Nut Ale, American Amber, kind of a reddish color to it. Then we've got Irish Red Ale, Killian, similar to a Killian style, Cream Ale. Boy, I really like that one. And your commercial beer that has the letters BL, whatever that means. But there they are. Those are the 5 that I've brewed so far. I have number 6 still in the carboy, number 7 on the stove. Oh, sorry folks. Back out. And there they are. There's the 5 that I've brewed so far. Sorry. So, looks like I'm going to be busy. Not just making beer, but now that I have all my samples out there. This one here, the Caribou, has really... This is the one that I thought was something wrong with the kit, and the company sent me a new kit. Boy, it's really smoothed out in time. It's really gotten a lot better. It's got that chocolatey, almost coffee type taste. Real subtle though, not real heavy. Just a nice, smooth, nutty brown flavor, like any of your nut brown ales. And it's got a really nice brownish color to it. And then as we move on, this American Amber, which is redder than I thought it would ever be. These beers are really getting clear in time. I mean, the chill haze just really isn't there like it was in the beginning. And you know, this has been sitting in the refrigerator for a couple of weeks because I'm down to the last. There's one more in there, and no more American Amber until I brew some more. So. There's a slight bit of chocolate in this one as well. Not as much as the Caribou, so you don't taste it as much, but very malty, nice. And boy, if you ever brew beer, give it some time, you know. You just got to give it time. You got to be patient. Irish Red, it's good. I don't really... I guess I've never really tried to compare it to Killian's. I guess I could get a bottle of that and try it, but I don't think it's, I don't know if it's that comparable, because Irish Reds, I think, can be brewed, you know, there's a certain style to brew to, but I think they can be brewed slightly different from each other. So as opposed to a dry Irish Stout as a dry Irish Stout, I mean, yeah, Guinness has their own recipe, their own way of doing it. And there's others out there that are probably doing it their own way, of course, but it's pretty much the roasted barley and, you know, some other ingredients with that as well. But very good, very good. And of course, all these have different hops in them, different styles. This one is the one that really amazes me because in the beginning it was very, very cloudy. It had a lot of fruity notes that went away, and now they're kind of coming back a little bit just with the age. And I'm just surprised at how it has cleared all of these really, now that I look at them side by side. So apparently my homemade wort chiller is apparently paid off. It's a coil that I use after I'm done boiling that to chill it down. I was going to bring it up and show it to you as a prop, but maybe some other time. Cream ale, nice and light. It has a light, that buttery toast flavor. But you know, nothing is really major when it comes to these flavors. They're relatively subtle on most of these. You know, like I said, this one here was very, very harsh in the beginning. The first bottle I tried wasn't, but a few days later it was very, very harsh, very alcohol-y, very, and of course there's your Bud Light, which I've dubbed, and some people have dubbed, yellow fizzy stuff. But it's, now anymore that I drink Bud Light, it's just tastes like very fruity. It's not a bad beer. I mean, if you like it, great. I mean, I drink it, you know, certain night of the week, but because that's what they have on draft. It's not a bad beer. It's you know, the big boys make this stuff light and easy to drink because they want you to buy a lot of it. You know, they're in the business of selling beer, so they want to buy a lot. They want you to buy a lot of beer, so they make it light and easy to drink. Not that any of these others aren't easy. They're easy to drink, but they have a lot more flavor to them. You know, a dry Irish stout, you're probably going to have one or two, maybe. But just got that roasted barley taste to it. Anyway, there's my comparison. Probably should have had somebody come over and help me with these. Now I gotta drink them all. Although I could probably skip the Bud Light. But anyway, we're brewing the Hefeweizen today. Hefeweizen today, which is a German wheat beer. Wheat, dry malt extract. I got 6 pounds of liquid in a hot water bath. No specialty grains with this. Probably going to be a fairly easy brew day. The biggest thing with this one seems to be timing. A lot of late editions of this stuff, and I haven't really found out why, but I'm going to find out why that makes a difference rather than just dumping it all in at once. It's partial. It's a little bit of the liquid, and then 45 minutes later you add this and the rest of the liquid, and you add your hops at the beginning. German Hallertau hops. Just looks like 1 ounce for 60 minutes. So it's going to be a light beer. It's probably going to look somewhere in between one of these two as far as color goes. So, but anyway, there's my beer. I'll have one more in the carboy, which is my Strange Brew 32. Don't even know what that one's going to be like. It's got a lot of German malt in it. I'm finding out it's more like a German alt beer, which I have no idea what that tastes like. So, but anyway, there it is. There's my video for today. So we'll see you next time. Okay, we're back to brewing. Took a little break in the middle because I had to add my liquid malt extract and my hops to this boil, and now I got a nice rolling boil going. Smells nice. These German Hallertau, I guess that's how you would pronounce it. Oh boy, do they have a nice aroma. Very nice. And I'm also back to still sampling. Very good. So, I got 38 minutes left of the boil. And at that point, I'm going to add this wheat dry malt extract and the rest of my liquid. I added half at the beginning, and the recipe calls for the other half to be at the same time as this, the last 15 minutes of the boil. And once I'm done with the boil, I will chill it down with my wort chiller to probably somewhere around 80 degrees, and then I'll add the rest of my water to it because this is only a partial boil. You only boil half of the amount. Like, this is a 5-gallon kit. I'm going to end up with 5 gallons of beer, but you only boil excuse me, you only boil half of it, so it's called a partial boil. So 2.5 gallons. I'll pour that in the carboy, and I'll add just regular tap water to it. I have bought store-bought water before, but I've also done, and actually this one here, this is the only one I did with all city water. So right out of the Great Lakes, well, Saginaw Bay anyway, soon to be Great Lakes. But anyways, and then I'll pitch my yeast. So I think the difference in this beer is going to be the yeast. Normally I use a dry yeast packet, but I got a smack pack this time. Wyeast. I don't even know how to pronounce it. Weizenstephan? I guess that's how it is. 3068. You know, if somebody knows the correct way to pronounce that, let me know. But anyways, you actually smack this. It comes flat. You refrigerate it when it's shipped. After it's shipped to you, refrigerate it. And then a few hours, like I did this last night, you just basically slap it. You know, you just slap it, and you can hear the little guys and gals, start bubbling and fizzing on the inside. And so you activated it once you smack it, and it puffs up like this, and then you know that they're ready to rock and roll. It says 1 billion yeast cells. Man, I'd hate to have that job of counting all them guys. But anyways, 1 billion yeast cells, so I guess I'll take their word for it. But anyways, I think that that's the difference. Back to my sampled beers. This one here out of the 5 is the only one that I used a liquid just like this, Wyeast Irish Stout, just Irish Ale, basically Irish Ale yeast, which you could use in this one, or you could use it in the Irish Red. You could use it in both. I think those probably about the only two. There could be others, but actually no, there's one more. I got another kit coming up. It's called Irish Blonde. So anyways, we'll see how that one turns out. And I ordered dry yeast with that Irish Blonde, but I think I'm going to go out and buy a pack of the Wyeast liquid, because to me, you know, your yeast gives you a certain flavor to your beer, and like a Kolsch. Kolsch is a German beer, brewed in that city of Köln, I think is the name of it. I don't know. Again, if I'm wrong, somebody let me know the right thing, the right terminology. But anyway, Köln, I think, is the city in Germany where they brew Kolsch beer, and there's an actual Kolsch yeast that you use for that beer. And really, if you don't use that, it's probably not really a true Kolsch. But the thing about this yeast is, and a Hefeweizen, make sure I say it right, Hefeweizen, is most of these bottle of beers that I have here, you want to pour them so you leave a little yeast in the bottom of the bottle. Well, not with Hefeweizen. You actually want to stir that up, and you actually want to drink that yeast, because it gives off a banana-y, now there's a word, banana flavor to the beer. Kind of a banana flavor. What's the other one? The other flavor I can't think. Clove. That's what it is. Banana clove type flavor, and a lot of that comes out of the yeast. So we'll see. I mean, you know, when this beer is done, and this is a fast turnaround beer. This was also a fast turnaround beer, the cream ale. 4 weeks, 2 weeks in a primary, and then you put it straight to bottle, and it sits in the bottle for 2 weeks, and it's ready to go. As opposed to all these other beers, plural. They were all 6-week turnarounds, with the exception of the American Amber being my first one, my first kit. I only did 5 weeks on that because I really didn't know, you know, it was a trial and error thing. Really didn't know how long to do anything as far as, you know, how long do you leave it, you know, when the airlock stops bubbling, when do you transfer it. Well, I've read up a lot on that now, and basically I've brewed all these to style, with the exception of the Irish Stout. I added the pound of DME to it, so that was not brewed exactly as style, but I didn't really, it just upped the alcohol, and I think it just added more maltiness to it. So, but it's a good beer. It's really good if you like the dry Irish style. Cream ale, oh, I'm loving it. And we'll see how this this one turns out. You know, I'm trying to brew some summer beers that are light, that will go with more of the hot weather outside. You know, you don't want to, I mean, you can drink them, you know, you don't want to drink the heavy stouts and porters and those, and lager beers. You don't really want to drink those in a 90-degree day sitting out on your patio or your front porch, you know, watching the cars go by. You don't want to have to drink something heavy like that. You want something nice and light. You know, I mean, even going back to the you know, the commercial beer, I mean, you know, it's a great time to drink something like that because it's nice and light. You know, it's not heavy. You know, you can go through a lot of it, but this cream ale is one that my next order may be 2 kits and brew, you know, 10 gallons of it side by side on the stove here. Put them both in carboys. You know, it's a fast 4-week turnaround. Have them ready, and go from there. But anyways, I've got 30 minutes left of the boil, so 30 minutes before I can add the rest of my malt extract. And then we'll take it down, chill it, pour it in the carboy, and we'll set it aside. So maybe I'll come back with the final result. We'll see how that looks. So anyways, that's it for now. That's the middle progress of my middle progress video, I guess I'd call this. So excuse me. Well, there you have it, folks. Bavarian Hefeweizen. Chilled, put in the carboy. Got a hydrometer reading. I'm going to wait for the foam to kind of settle, see where it's at. That's kind of what, let me pan down here a little bit. Kind of the color and clarity it'll probably be. Looks about right. The carboy looks a bit darker. We'll see when it actually is done and finished. But there it is. Yeast has been pitched. I may have pitched it at too cool of a temperature. Normally I pitch in the mid 60s or low 60 range. I think I may have added a little bit too much cool water, but it's about 57 degrees, so I'm hoping that I haven't shocked the yeast, but we'll see. I probably could have let it set, let it warm up slightly, but I had such a good aeration going. You can see a lot of foam on the top, and aeration is what you want for yeast. They need oxygen to survive and to do their stuff, you know, which is to make the alcohol. So anyways, we'll see if that makes a difference. Hopefully I don't get any off flavors from it being too cool, but it'll warm up here, up in my special room up front. So anyways, but that's what it looks like. I don't know. I'm gonna kind of let it calm down a little bit, see where my original gravity reading is. I tend to, and I'm getting probably a good spot on this, I tend to take a gravity reading after I pitch the yeast. Something I saw on YouTube where if I save this container right here, pour it into a beer bottle, put a some sort of a paper towel or napkin in it so it can ferment. This will ferment just like what you're seeing in this big carboy. And that way, at the end of fermentation, I can keep checking this small sample and know what this big thing is doing. So that's what I've been doing lately. Saves beer. I don't have to draw another sample in between. So this will set in here for 2 weeks, and then it's going to go straight to bottle. I'll transfer this to my bottling bucket. I'll have probably 2 cases and a 6-pack sanitized and ready to go, and we'll bottle it in 2 weeks, and then in 2 weeks from there we'll be able to sample it, and I'll come back with a sampling notes or a tasting notes video and let you know what it tastes like. So there you go. Bavarian Hefeweizen, a wheat beer, a nice light beer, low gravity session beer, which means probably about in the 4.25% alcohol range. So not real heavy, nice and light. They say swirl up the yeast, you get more of the banana and clove flavor. You want to drink the yeast with this. So, we'll see. We'll see how it turns out. So, but that's the end of my videos for today. Probably put all 3 together. If not, there'll be 3 individuals out on YouTube, and if you like them, great. If not, oh well, it was fun for me. So we'll see you later.